everyone, and welcome to this amazing podcast of LiveTalksISM. So, before starting, we would like to give a little synopsis of what is Astitva and what is today's podcast about.
So, LGBTQIA plus community. Over the past decade, LGBTQIA plus people ने more and more tolerance and acceptance gain किया है इंडिया में, especially in large cities. Still, most LGBTQIA plus people in India remain closeted, discrimination के डर से, even from their friends and family, and especially उन लोगों से जिनको homosexuality shameful लगती है.
So, इन्हीं चीज़ों पे डिस्कस करने आ रहे हैं आज हमारे साथ द प्राउड फाउंडिंग मेंबर्स ऑफ दिस वेरी प्रीशियस क्लब ऑफ IITISM धनबाद, अस्तित्व.
So we would delightfully like to welcome our guests, Shilpa Mahato ma'am, Bhautik Agrawal sir, Shivangi Patel ma'am, and Harika Reddy ma'am. Please introduce yourselves to the audience.
Sure, I think I can go ahead. So of course I didn't prepare for this, but then hi everyone. I'm Shilpa Mahato and I am a final year undergraduate student and I'm doing my bachelor's in engineering physics. And definitely I'm one of the founders of Astitva, the LGBTQ community of our college.
We're delighted to have you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think I can go next. Hey guys, I am Bhautik. I am a final year undergraduate in the Department of Petroleum Engineering, pursuing my bachelor's. And also I am another founding member of the society, and I believe myself as an ally of the community, and I am very happy to be here in this podcast today.
We're equally happy to have you, sir.
I am Harika Reddy, pursuing my Bachelor of Technology in Mining Engineering. And obviously, I am one of the founders too. My pronouns, I would say, is she or her, and I am an ally. And I'm very excited about the session.
We're also excited.
And we are also excited for this.
I'm Shivangi Patel and I'm a final year undergrad in petroleum engineering, and I'm also one of the founder of Astitva. So looking forward to the session ahead.
As well. So, as it is Pride Month going on, happy Pride to all of you, and once again, welcome to this amazing podcast we are going to do today. So, shall we begin, ma'am?
Thank you. Same to you.
So first question हमारा यही होगा, I'd say to Harika ma'am, कि आपको इस क्लब की नीड कब समझ आई? लाइक आपसे पहले भी बहुत लोगों ने इस बारे में सोचा होगा, but there is a need of a club itself. ये सिर्फ आपने सोचा. So was it an incident or is it something that had been lingering in your mind all this while? Like what sparked that fire? What inspired you?
So during my first year too, I've always felt that if a club for the LGBTQIA plus community existed in our college, but it was not until my third year when I went back to college that I've heard my friends doing some homophobic jokes and the other just laughed along. I am an ally, but then I think that incident hit me. Post which I had my very close friend come up with this idea, and that's when we all formed a group and just started with this.
Okay, that's great. Bhautik Agrawal sir, what inspired you?
Yeah, so it's more or less a similar kind of story for all of us. So it's been I have had my many friends in the college who were either on the either side of the line. They were the supporters, they were the opposition party as well. So I had few of my close friends belonging to the community. So I felt like it's on me to do something for them, So then this idea came up, we all discussed, and that's how it all started. And it was it, it was not in a day or so, but yeah, it started.
Yeah, that's very inspiring. Shivangi ma'am?
Uh, for me, it was my. It all started with my personal experience. I would say, when I was in my second year, I started exploring my sexuality and gender identity. So at that time, I had nobody to talk to, or I had no support from the college, from my home, or anywhere. I was all alone, exploring myself, fighting with the identity crisis and all. Everything was so messed up for me. So at that time only, I just thought कि if there, अगर हम एक club खोल सकते हैं in our college, where people can come and get support from us, so that would be great. And also कि लाइक हम पर्सनली किसी फ्रेंड के पास भी जाने से पहले 10 बार सोचते हैं कि कैसे रिएक्ट करेगा सामने वाला, या उसके मन में क्या चल रहा है, इज ही अ लाई और ही इज जस्ट प्रिटेंडिंग. तो अगर एक सोसाइटी होगी जहाँ पे अ बंच ऑफ पीपल हु आर रेडी टू लिसन टू ऑल योर प्रॉब्लम्स एंड हेल्प यू थ्रू इट, एंड ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड यू अ सेफ स्पेस जहाँ पे तुम अपनी सारी चीजें डिस्कस कर सकते हो और अपने जैसे लोगों के साथ एक बॉन्ड शेयर कर सकते हो, आई गेस बेटर होगा. तो दैट वाज व्हाट आई थॉट एंड we all came along and just started the club.
And definitely many more will be benefited from this wonderful thought of yours.
Yeah.
We really hope so.
So seniors, अस्तित्व जो नाम है मतलब काफी एक डीप मीनिंग एम्बेड करता है अपने आप में, बहुत पावरफुल नेम लगता है, साउंड करता है. आप लोग कैसे सोच पाए कि अस्तित्व नाम रखते हैं इस सोसाइटी का?
Can you please elaborate? How was this club named?
So yeah, I would like to go ahead with this one. तो अस्तित्व एज अ नाम हमने जब सोचा था, so first we went through different societies and all the clubs, all the organizations that were working towards this cause, and we searched for a lot of names, and then we went to check on the list of the names from other colleges, including all the IITs, those already has this kind of society established in them. हमने private colleges के भी नाम देखे, and we explored some organizations, governmental stuff. Then on a random discussion, we thought that let's do something with Hindi, because बहुत सारे English names थे and there were few Hindi names, and that sounded very profounding to us. So then we decided, shall we start with something? There were multiple names, multiple recommendations from everyone. Then one day I and Shivangi were texting each other that what should be the name, we should come up with this. Then randomly I thought, let's come up with the name Astitva. She liked it. Then we discussed with every member of the society, and then it was like, it's like Astitva. It has a deep meaning. It says it indicates your impersonation. It indicates your presence. It indicates everything you have in this physical world. So let's start with the name Astitva. Let's go with the name Astitva so that we can be comfortable with our identities. People can be comfortable with their identities. So that's how the name Astitva started.
Hindi just hits sometimes, and Astitva is very very good.
Yeah.
So we would love to know this. How has the formation of Astitva has helped the LGBTQIA plus community of IITISM in terms of support and reaching out?
Basically, okay, I mean, I'll just add a sentence. You can go after that, Harika. I mean, we have been actually very surprised, to be honest, because quite a number of people who belong to the community have reached out to us. And we didn't expect this many people existed, this many people belonging to the community existed inside our campus. So even if it's 10 or 20 people who we can help through the society, I think it's a big thing to do. Harika, what do you have to say?
Honestly, my answer isn't much different from what Shilpa said, but I would like to say that honestly, when we like started out with this club, I wasn't expecting anything as such, like that people would reach out to us that soon, that people would actually put in trust in us. Yeah, but it was quite surprising that, like the surprising part is most of the people who reached out to us were from the first years who, just entered the college, and a lot of PhD people. So we were expecting that we reach out to our batchmates and immediate juniors first, but yeah, Astitva had reached out quite far. So that was a happy moment for us, I'd say.
People found a ray of hope for themselves.
Yes, yes.
That's
It's
what we
really
want.
wonderful that the first years are trying to reach out, cause
Yeah,
like
the
first
best thing
year we
that
are just shut up, and if, as Shivangi ma'am said, there are multiple problems faced. So if I'm really glad that they came out and asked for your help.
I think it's that first years have no preconceived notion as to what they expect in college. They are like, okay, IIT is all going to be like with this cool people. Everything is, we'll just go join everything. Let's just explore. They're, I think, in general, very excited to join.
Yeah, that's correct, ma'am.
So, see, if we talk about a club like Astitva, so first of all, it's a society or a community where we people from the queer people came together and just like formed a group, and we are like uh, uh, sharing that bond together with each other. एंड अगर ये चीज हम देखना चाहते हो दूसरे तरीके से कि लाइक लोग क्यों हमें रीच आउट कर रहे हैं, मुझे जब आइडिया आया कि आई कैन स्टार्ट समथिंग लाइक दिस, क्योंकि मेरे पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस खराब हुआ तो आई जस्ट थॉट कि बाकी लोगों को सफर ना करना पड़े। तो जब कोई भी दूसरा इंसान जो लाइक बिलोंग करता है सोसाइटी को और वो क्लोजेट में है और वो लाइक बस वो ढूंढ रहा है, लाइक अपने जैसे लोगों को ढूंढ रहा है, अपने जैसे लोगों को कहीं से भी मिलना चाहता है, ही वांट टू बिलोंग समवेयर, लाइक जो सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस होती है वो मोस्टली जो क्वेयर पीपल होते हैं उनकी सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस चली जाती है। तो जब ऐसा कोई ग्रुप बना हमारे कॉलेज में तो लोग बस वो सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस ढूंढने के लिए हमारे पास आए, आई गेस। फॉर मी मेरा सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस अस्तित्व से ही आता है आफ्टर इतना सब जो हुआ मेरे लाइफ में, एंड आई डिस्कवर्ड सो मेनी थिंग्स, और इतनी सारी चीज़ों के थ्रू आई हैव टू ऐसा लाइक गो थ्रू एंड एवरीथिंग। तो उसके बाद मेरा जो लाइक इफ आई बिलोंग समवेयर इन माय कॉलेज, दैट इज द ओनली प्लेस लाइक दैट इज लाइक अस्तित्व। अस्तित्व ही वो जगह है जहाँ मेरे को सेफ फील होता है या सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस आती है। We hope for the best things to happen to you, ma'am, in future.
Yes, ma'am. And hope many more will cherish Astitva just like you all do.
Yeah, like we are looking forward कि कुछ थर्ड इयर्स सेकेंड इयर्स जो भी है हमको और कांटेक्ट करें। We just have reached out, like काफी लोगों पे ऐसे reach out कर रहे हैं, but we haven't received like ऐसा good response from the third year students and the final year students. So we are hoping कि वो भी हमें reach out करें और help करें।
Now, shall we move on seniors? So like एक club form करना, this we have heard from our seniors of LiveTalksISM what they faced. So definitely आप लोगों ने भी कुछ oppositions, कुछ difficulties face की होंगी, तो आपने कैसे उसको tackle किया and what were that for you? Can you please tell something like that?
So like Astitva is not like the society which we normally see in any of the college, or it's neither a tech society, neither a cult society. So what is appreciated in a college is like either you go for a tech society or you go for a cult society. So these type of societies are comparative. I'm not saying that they are easy to establish, but they are comparatively less tiresome. And the amount of sensitivity this society has in itself was a huge thing for us, that at earlier stages we were like, are we sure we're gonna make it? Are we sure we want to do it? Because the amount of work and the amount of courage it needed, the because this is for a good cause, right? If anything goes around and it does not goes around as it planned, and if there is a serious and consequences of that, we cannot be able to bear it. हम इसमें इसके पीछे के कॉज को इतना जो बड़ा कॉज था, हम उसको ऐसे लाइटली नहीं ले सकते थे. अगर कुछ भी उल्टा हो जाता, तो we had to do like a lot of thinking and a lot of background work before we were able to come to a decision that yeah, we can go ahead. And then thereafter, I think Shivangi could add a better thing because she has done a lot for this society. So Shivangi, over to you now.
सी मेरे हिसाब से तो हमें लाइक ऐसी कोई डिफिकल्टी आई नहीं लाइक स्टैब्लिश करने में, बट देयर वर मेनी पीपल जिनको कोई आइडिया नहीं था सोसाइटी के बारे में एंड दे यूज्ड टू कमेंट. आई हैव हैड द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ दैट थिंग कि लाइक एक बार हमने वी जस्ट लाइक अपना पहला हम लोग ने जो पोस्ट था वो डाला था एंड उसके बाद लाइक आई गॉट सम बैड रिस्पॉन्सेज, मेरे ज़्यादातर अच्छे थे. तो आई वॉज हैप्पी कि चलो भाई कॉलेज में लाइक बाकी लोग भी हैं जो हमें सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं. और फिर उस वक्त जब मुझे लगा कि हाँ अभी मेरे पास ठीक ठाक सपोर्ट है, तो वी ऑल लाइक थॉट कि हाँ अब हम और बड़े लेवल पे इसको ले जा सकते हैं. तो फिर उसके बाद हमने ट्राई किया ऑफिशियल कराने का, एसजी के थ्रू पास कराने का, बट एज यू नो कि सोसाइटीज या क्लब्स को थोड़े टाइम अनऑफिशियली लाइक वर्क करना होता है, उसी के बाद ऑफिशियल होते हैं. तो
It was all like a background thing.
Yeah.
The first whole year span, which we took for thinking about the establishing, and thereafter when we started, so we had a huge amount of background work done. So it was not very complicated for us to go and establish this. But the background process was very complicated. So yeah.
like if I talk about myself, like I had to like work for around 2 years to like come up and just like, speak about what I'm like ऐसे करने वाली हूँ. उसके लिए मेरे को बहुत टाइम लगा था, like अराउंड 2 साल पहले बहुत सोचा like कर पाऊंगी नहीं पाऊंगी. फिर then I gathered all the courage कि नहीं भाई अब तो करना है. थर्ड ईयर में आ गया एंड फाइनल ईयर में नहीं हो पाएगा मैनेज, तो we just started. Then I मैंने like शिल्पा को कांटेक्ट किया. हारिका इज like really good friend of mine, तो हम सब आपस में बात कर रहे थे. भौतिक से मेरा काफी टाइम से बात चल रहा था, तो बस धीरे धीरे एंथुसियाज्म था हमारे अंदर, तो we just decided कि भाई चलो अब करते हैं कुछ बड़ा.
Yeah, and when we are doing something for a good cause, so all the positivity overshadows all the difficulties that you face.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that we experience a lot. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think we were very excited in the initial phases, especially I remember Harika jumping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also, like, I think-
अरे करो 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 सब करेंगे. एसजी से मैं बात करूंगी, करो करो जल्दी करो.
लाइक जब हमारा फर्स्ट इवेंट सक्सेसफुल हुआ था, तो हम सारे लिटरली एक रूम में खड़े होके नाच रहे थे. सबके सब नाच रहे थे जितने उस रूम में थे. तो
I remember that.
लग रहा था. हारिका तो हमेशा बहुत एक्साइटेड रहती है.
Yeah, now that Shivangi reminded us of the first event, but the first event was like this online webinar. Of course, I mean, we had like very few participants, as 2-3 people turning on their video, showing some random inappropriate stuff. And I think we were ready for it, but it was still, I mean, fine. Like
it was less than expected. So yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, we had like a quite decent population as well. It was around 60 plus participants in that webinar, and just the 2 incidents, and our managing team was very good, so they just kicked them out, so it was good.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think we had any setback.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something like, especially like the few of the professors and the deans that we have reached out to, they had been actually very supportive about the entire idea. And we are very thankful to them. We didn't expect, we thought like it might have taken us a little bit of convincing as why we need this and how it's not gonna negatively affect someone and things like that. But finally we were able to convince them, and I think they had been very supportive about this entire thing.
We even had like a professor approach us by himself, like.
Wow.
Wonderful, man. That's
Wonderful.
really like unexpected thing to hear.
Yeah.
So we move on. So I would love to know this from Shivangi ma'am, that there is a huge lack of knowledge in people in regards to exploring their sexualities or respecting someone else's. So आप through अस्तित्व in regards में क्या improvements लाना चाहते हैं, and what are your ideas for it?
मैं थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन को चेंज करना चाहूंगी कि लाइक अभी तक क्या क्या चेंजेस आए हैं जो मैंने नोटिस किया। आई हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड लाइक मैनी चेंजेस जब से हम लोग ने ये स्टार्ट किया। तो लाइक जब स्टार्टिंग में हम क्लब स्टार्ट करने का बस सोच रहे थे कि एक आइडिया था, जब किसी को कुछ पता नहीं था, हम 5 लोग को बस आइडिया था कि कुछ ऐसा होने वाला है बड़ा। तो उस वक्त मेरे को याद है लोग लाइक होमोफोबिक जो मारते थे, हंसते थे, और अगर कोई लाइक उनको अपोज कर रहा है और उनको कुछ बोल रहा है तो वो उनको फर्क नहीं पड़ता था, लाइक कि ठीक है ना, जोक ही तो है। बट तो लाइक हमें समझ आता है कि वो कैसे किसी को अफेक्ट कर सकता है। लाइक मेरे को भी काफी अफेक्ट किए हैं ऐसे जोक्स जो भी कॉलेज में हुए या कहीं भी। मेरी लाइक एक मीट थी, हम सब सीनियर्स और जूनियर्स एक साथ थे। आई डोंट रिमेम्बर किस चीज का मीट था। तो वहाँ पे पीपल वर मेकिंग दीज होमोफोबिक जोक्स, और जब मैं वहाँ पे एंटर की तो दे जस्ट लाइक चुप हो गए वो। सो दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग कि लाइक जैसे अस्तित्व ने जैसे जैसे अस्तित्व लाइक क्लब एज अ क्लब थोड़ा सा बड़ा हुआ या हमने इवेंट्स कराना स्टार्ट किए तो लोगों के अंदर वो डर आ गया था कि अगर हम होमोफोबिक जोक मारेंगे तो कोई है जो इन लोगों को सपोर्ट कर रहा है एंड हमको लाइक उसके रिपरकशंस देखने मिल सकते हैं। तो मेरे को ये चीज़ बहुत अच्छी लगती थी। और बाकी आगे का अगर हम बोल रहे हैं तो आगे के लिए लाइक वी आर प्लानिंग टू ऑर्गेनाइज डिफरेंट लाइक टॉक्स विद लाइक रिलेशनशिप्स होती है मोस्टली, हमको कोई आइडिया नहीं होता लाइक जो होमोसेक्सुअल रिलेशनशिप्स होती है उनको लाइक उनका कोई एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, उनका कोई आइडिया नहीं है लाइक कैसे आगे जाना है। तो वी आर प्लानिंग टू लाइक ऑर्गेनाइज सम टॉक विद सम लाइक ऐसे कुछ कपल्स के साथ फ्रॉम द कम्युनिटी एंड डिफरेंट इनफॉर्मल वेबिनार्स, जैसे इंफॉर्मेशनल वेबिनार्स, और जो भी लाइक पॉसिबल होगा। वी आर ट्राइंग आवर बेस्ट कि चारों तरफ से जितना सपोर्ट ला सकते हैं हम लाएंगे। और जब तक हम हैं तब तक लाइक इसमें तो आई डोंट थिंक कमी होगी। और हमारे पास हमारे जूनियर्स हैं जो हमें रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे और वो और आगे ले जाएंगे। और बड़ा चेंज आने में आई गेस बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है। तो आज से 4-5 साल बाद हम शायद अच्छे से कह पाएंगे कि हाँ हमने कोई कुछ चेंज लाया है सोसाइटी में या एनवायरनमेंट में आईएसएम के।
Definitely, man.
It's like someone has got your back.
No, I'd like to add something. मतलब ये जो lack of knowledge है ना, this comes from lack of information and lack of exposure. Just because we don't see a lot of LGBT couples around us, and also like in earlier I'm talking about right now, there's a lot of like suddenly a lot of movies are being made around this topic. But earlier, since people didn't have an exposure to this kind of relationships and queer people and queer characters in movies or books, they weren't able to relate to it. So they didn't know like something like this at all existed. I think there would be like a lot of people who don't know that something like this exists. Like there are people like a community like this exists. So इसीलिए since उनके पास information नहीं है तो knowledge नहीं है तो उनके लिए समझने में भी problem होती है। So अगर वो खुद को भी अगर उनके mind में भी कुछ ऐसा आया हो तो they could have just let it go, let the thought go, thinking that this is unnatural or this is something really stupid or things like that, because मतलब inappropriate लगा होगा वो thought. So because of this lack of knowledge, people are not even able to understand themselves, as well as they are not able to understand others. So as a society, what we have thought is to have multiple webinars and knowledge session, and we aim to provide a safe space for everyone to explore themselves, their sexuality, their gender identity, and whatever they want to do with yourselves. We just feel that we will be able to provide a safe space like that. If you guys want to add something like
Yeah. So I would like to add on to that. As to see like how these relationships work, heterosexual relationships समझने के लिए I don't think we will have to put up any extra efforts as to understand how a relationship between a man or a woman works.
Exactly.
But when it comes to the queer community, there's a huge lack of representation, be it cinema, art, or just stories, everything. So to understand queer relationships, I think, or like sexual orientation or exploring yourselves, you need to put in that extra effort to like actually go on and read up about stuff. So as us being a part of Astitva, I think we would like to make that path easier for people who are willing to understand and explore their sexuality or just understand the whole concept behind this. I think Bhautik wanted to add something.
Would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, so as the guys have already spoken everything, so it's like the cause of this is not about um, not about like populating something or presenting, or it's not on a propaganda that we are going to do this and that, but it's like educating and creating the awareness, especially the self one. So we discussed on the very first day itself that the self acceptance is the most important criteria and the most important, not criterion, most important thing. So unless and until one have that, for that you need to have a proper amount of knowledge and education, which I think is not appropriately passed on to the Indian population somehow. We are living in India, so I'll talk about India. So don't mind me if it's very common in other parts of the world as well. So homosexuality is not very common in uh, all around the world apart from the Western countries. So yeah, so we talked that self acceptance is the key. So the proper knowledge to accept themselves, the proper knowledge to lead on their proper life is a must. So that's our basic cause, to aware the people, to aware the society, and to create a safe space for the people who are willing to accept themselves.
Yes sir, and आई गेस आप लोग को रिस्पॉन्सेस काफ़ी एक अच्छा मिल रहा है आईएसएम से, तो मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है.
Yeah,
It's
definitely. We are
how's
getting
the
a
feeling?
huge and appropriate responses from people. At times, we also have negative ones, but yeah, that's very less in number. We are getting a huge amount of positive response from people, and as they already mentioned, that the most of them are from either PhD or MSc backgrounds and either first years. So it's very like appealing to see the all the newbies coming to us, and it's like very interesting thing.
but we do expect people who are like our immediate juniors
Yeah.
and our batchmates to be equally supportive to us. So it's not like everyone supporting us. Of course, it can't happen, and we understand that. But then we expect like more and more people to support us because it's a good cause.
It's a very good cause. We wish that. So,
I think, I'm sorry. So
No, please
I'd
continue.
like to add something. Being an ally myself, I think when I talk to people from the community, when people from the community actually reach out and tell their stories, I think that kinds of help me understand what they go through, or like just be a good, give them good support and help become a better ally.
So, as I noticed what Bhautik sir said, so it is very common in other countries, but not in India, to have enough knowledge about this. And I think it is the like our artists and our film industry which is creating a lot of confusion on this. Like always homosexual people are always victimized in most of the Bollywood movies, and it's just not so in the Hollywood, in Hollywood, right? Because they are like normal people there, but here they're always victimized. So this creates a lot of confusion in us and in our, like, everyone. So one such confusion is, what is the difference between gender identity and sexual orientation? So please enlighten us about this.
Shilpa, would you like to go ahead on this one?
Sure. Just waiting if any of you guys are saying something. So, like, gender identity and sexual orientation are very different. Do you mean more like what's the difference between sex and genders? Or maybe I can start from there. So, sex is something you are assigned at birth. Okay, it's dependent upon your biological anatomy. So it depends upon your genitalia. That's how you're assigned. So that's something biological, sex. And when it comes to gender or gender identity, it's more about how you socially represent yourself. Okay, so you can be a man, a woman, or a gender, or there are like a long list of genders. Okay, so that is something which is your calling, which comes from inside, and you want to see yourself socially in that position in a particular way. That's what gender identity is. And sexual orientation is related to your sexual attraction towards people. What kind of relationship do you seek? So you can be sexual orientation. So LGBT, all these are sexual orientation, lesbians, gay, bisexual, etc. So sexual orientation is obviously who you are attracted to, basically. And gender identity is basically how you want to represent yourself inside the society. Yeah, I think if you guys want to add something.
So Shilpa has uh, correctly like explained everything. So I did asked her to, because she is the know-how of these things, and she can only will represent these things. So yeah, Harika was going to add something. Harika, you
No,
were?
I was just saying that I don't know about others, but I'm like still learning up every day.
Yeah, same
And
for
being
me.
in Astitva is really helping me
Yeah.
get better at understanding
Yeah.
things better.
From my personal experience, I talk about these labels and different gender identities where you have to identify and label yourself. तो ये काफ़ी लाइक हेक्टिक हो जाता है एंड ये बहुत ज़्यादा इमोशनली ड्रेनिंग होता है कि तुम कहीं बिलोंग नहीं कर पा रहे हो। तो आई गेस व्हेन यू आर एक्सप्लोरिंग इट इज़ ओके टू नॉट आइडेंटिफाई योरसेल्फ विथ एनी ऑफ द लेबल। इट्स ओके टू बी जस्ट यू कि तुम हो जो हो, खत्म करो उसको, लाइक इतना सोचो मत, बस एक्सप्लोर करते रहो। हो सकता है आज तुमको तुम किसी और लेवल से आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हो, कल किसी और लेवल से करोगे, तो उस पे इतना फोर्स मत डालो उस चीज पे कि तुम अपने आप को उस प्रोसेस में कहीं खो दो। दैट्स ऑल। एंड यहाँ पे इफ लाइक किसी को कोई सपोर्ट चाहिए तो वी आर हियर, हम हर तरीके से हेल्प करने के लिए तैयार हैं, बट यू हैव टू कम फॉरवर्ड एंड टॉक टू अस, then only we can help you.
This is gonna help a lot of people. It makes us happy
and
to know this.
सबका एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा हैप्पी नहीं होता है जैसा मूवीज में देखते हैं। एवरीबडी हैज देयर वल्नरेबल साइड जो दुनिया से छुपाते हैं लोग, ठीक है। तो अगर द पीपल हु बिलोंग टू द सोसाइटी एंड दे आर इन दैट वल्नरेबल स्टेट, तो उनको लाइक डरने की जरूरत नहीं है या अलग फील करने की जरूरत नहीं है। सब उसी स्टेट में है, सब किसी ना किसी चीज से गुजर रहे हैं, तो हम अकेले नहीं हैं।
ऑल्सो ऐसा है ना कि अभी होमोसेक्सुअल पीपल, इफ वन वुड एक्सप्लोर एज वेल कि अब हम क्या हैं, अपनी जेंडर आइडेंटिटी वो एक्सप्लोर कर रहा है और उसने फाइंड आउट भी कर लिया, तो मैम अभी का टाइम इंडिया इतना, जैसे सर ने कहा कि इंडिया इतना ग्रो नहीं किया कि पीपल वुड surely accept you if you would come forward. And even if friends would do, there is a generation gap, families, we are afraid कि क्या होगा, उनको पता चलेगा तो what will be their reactions, and it's मेजरली ऑन नेगेटिव साइड की शायद अच्छा रिएक्शन नहीं देंगे वो, तो हेजिटेंस काफ़ी ज़्यादा देखने को मिलता है। वो कैसे कम कर सकते हैं?
हेजिटेंस कम करना तुम्हारे या मेरे हाथ में नहीं है। आई गेस पेरेंट्स को ज़्यादा आइडिया नहीं होता है, मोस्टली नॉलेज नहीं होता है, और देयर इज अ जनरेशन एंड आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट। बट और ऐसा भी बहुत ज़रूरी नहीं है कि तुमको हमेशा अपनी सी तुम्हारा जो सेक्सुअल ओरिएंटेशन है, तुम्हारी जो जेंडर आइडेंटिटी, इट्स पार्ट ऑफ यू, वो तुम नहीं हो, ठीक है? तो इफ यू आर हाइडिंग इट फ्रॉम समवन, तुमको उसके लिए बुरा नहीं लगना चाहिए। इट्स ओके, क्योंकि तुमको पता है लोग तुमको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे उस वक्त, ठीक है? तो इफ यू वांट टू लाइक प्रोटेक्ट योरसेल्फ फ्रॉम वो सारा सराउंडिंग से, तो इट्स ओके टू बी क्लोजेटेड। बट या कि एक टाइम के बाद लाइक हमें अपने डिसीजंस लेने पड़ते हैं, और लाइक वी हैव टू कम आउट टू पीपल एंड टू आवर फैमिली, क्योंकि हम अपनी खुशी देखेंगे ना, हम अपना आगे का लाइफ किसी और के हिसाब से नहीं जी सकते हैं, ऑब्वियस सी बात है। तो उसके लिए लाइक बेस्ट चीज़ है कि बस बोल दो और कुछ एक्सपेक्ट मत करो। जैसे मेरा खुद का एक्सपीरियंस मैं बताऊं तो मैंने बस बोल दिया, ठीक है, मेरे में उतना करेज नहीं था कि मैं खुद से बोलूं, बट या कोई मेरी एक बहुत क्लोज फ्रेंड है, शी हेल्प मी आउट विद ऑल दीज थिंग्स, और लाइक मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स को बताया एंड उनको समझ नहीं आया, बट दे ट्राइड कि उनको समझ आ जाए, या लाइक थोड़ी कोशिश की, और उनके लिए अभी भी मुश्किल है समझना, बट उनको लाइक वो चीज़ डिस्कस नहीं करना चाहते, वो खत्म कर दी उन्होंने कि ठीक है अभी जो है रहने दो, हमको फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, हमें अपने बच्चे से मतलब है, खत्म है वहाँ सब कुछ। तो उनसे फिर एक्सपेक्ट मत करो ना वो सपोर्ट जो तुमको नहीं मिलेगा उस वक्त, उनको समझने के लिए टाइम तो दो उसके बाद। तो डरने की जरूरत नहीं है आई गेस, बस जो हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, जो सपोर्ट फैमिली से या अपने फ्रेंड्स से, वो हमेशा मिले ज़रूरी नहीं है, बस इतना समझने की ज़रूरत है, और वो सपोर्ट हम कम्युनिटी में कहीं ना कहीं ढूंढ सकते हैं। आई एम डूइंग द सेम, हम कम्युनिटी के लोगों से बात करते हैं, और हाँ मिलता है वो सपोर्ट, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं मिलता।
So, like, I would like to add on to this. रही बात hesitation की, तो it's not only thing that's very common in India. It's very common in Western world itself. So, जहाँ अपन सुनते आ रहे हैं कि these things are very prevalent since last 2 decades, वहाँ पे भी hesitations हैं. So, it's not about a particular society or country or particular kind of people. It's all about the inside mechanisms of the mind that's working. So sometimes the nervousness, anxiety, तुम पेपर देने जाते हो, इट्स ऑटोमेटिक कि अपने आप ही आएगा वहाँ, तुम जितना पढ़ के जाओ अपने आप लगता है कि यार आज तो कुछ ना कुछ तो ऐसा आ जाएगा जो मैं छोड़ के आया हूँ। सो इट्स इनबिल्ट, इस टाइप का नर्वसनेस आ ही जाता है, एंड दैट्स हेजिटेशन इज वेरी कॉमन. सो वन वे दैट it could be reduced up to a certain level is by educating people and awareing them. अपनी जो previous generation है, they have very less encounter with this kind of stuff. Maybe most of them did not have any appropriate knowledge or any knowledge about existence of this stuff. So they need to be like aware about it. So, and definitely, as Shivangi mentioned, they need to get some time to cope up with this, to digest the fact that this could happen in reality. So like time is the key to everything. The hesitance would definitely go off along with time.
Definitely, sir. And as it is said,
Yeah.
time is everything.
Yeah.
Harika ma'am, you are adding something to this question.
Yeah, it's more or less the same thing, that with time everything falls in place. We can't just complain that the parents don't understand and all, because despite having a lot of representation and actual movement in regards to the queer community, we still have our batchmates who can't understand, right? So for a generation who had like zero exposure, I think all we can do is tell them how we feel, or tell them that it's nothing new, it always existed. It's just that we couldn't see it So, like Bhautik said, education is the key, and yeah, with time, I'm sure they'll try to understand. Also, I think if someone is not willing to come out to the society or like to their close family, even, it's all right. It's a personal choice. We can't really, you know, keep pressuring them as to when are you going to come out and all. It's a very bad thing to do. I think if you make peace with your identity, yourself first, like self acceptance, that's the first step that we should be taking. And coming out, you can just come out whenever you're comfortable.
Yeah. Shilpa ma'am, you want to add?
Right. Yeah, self acceptance is the key to happiness, as everyone says. So, yeah, you should come in terms. So, like, in itself, like exploring and then finding out your own identity is a big struggle and is very exhaustive emotionally. And after that, like, but then once you have accepted yourself, I think things become a little bit easier. And then there's this another struggle of coming out and telling your close people. So it should be always up to you whenever you are comfortable, whenever you are confident and okay with yourself. You should just come out to whoever you want to, or you can stay inside the closet as long as you want. No one's banging on the door.
Yeah.
And regarding support, I think we expect support from two kinds. So there are two kinds of people, okay? We have our own close circle of family and friends, and there's this society in general, right? So हम expect करते हैं कि after we come out, they don't see us in a different light, okay? Like we expect they see us the same way they saw us earlier. कुछ लोगों को time लग सकता है to digest this fact. And some people might be supportive right from the beginning, and some people might take some time, especially our parents maybe or some friends, but that's okay. Also, I think this feeling of not being able to accept or digest the fact comes from the fact that our parents, sometimes they are actually more of protective of us. So they are worried, like if we come out in the society, if it's gonna negatively impact our life or something like that. Another thing is that coming out, like the outer society, जिसके साथ तुम्हारा कोई relationship नहीं है. So even if they are not exactly accepting or supporting you, I don't think that should affect you in any way. But I think what I have felt working with this community, being in this community, is that there's a huge amount of support that you can get inside this community. So even though तुम्हारे friends तुम्हें support ना करें, तुम्हारे parents तुम्हें support ना करें, but people belonging to this community will always support you. So anywhere you go, you find a group or a community, they're super helpful and super supportive, anyone who is in need of help. So I think that's it.
Yeah. So we talked about coming out, how much courage it needs, and it's not always that someone finds support. People find a lot of backlashes, and it's very difficult for them to enjoy the new life that they have given themselves. So how can one cope up from these?
That's all again. The one answer is the self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the key to everything. Yeah. Unless and until a person is comfortable what they are and what they feel about themselves, they cannot be happy whatsoever. Even the society accepts them, and if they themselves does not accept their true identity, that does not means anything for them. So self-acceptance is the first and foremost step. Unless and until a person like self-acceptance is the solution to almost 70% of problem. So if they have accepted themselves for whatever they are, whosoever they are, then it would be a lot more easier for them to live a good and a happy life. And regarding the support, as my friends also mentioned that the community is very helpful, and you'll definitely find someone to help you at every time. And also in this college as well, we are, and also the people who will be seeking this podcast, and not belonging to ISM, we are there to help you as well. It's not just for ISMites. Astitva has its own roots, and it would be spreading surely for sure in the coming times. And so people from anywhere can definitely contact us for any support. We would try to provide everything we can. And yeah, so as people mentioned, that support is already there in the community. But the self acceptance is the key. Unless and until you are comfortable with yourself, you cannot be happy. Yeah. If anyone want to add.
Yes, Harika.
Yeah, so I think when you are comfortable with yourself and you've accepted yourself, there comes a confidence that's one of a kind. And when people see you like so moving on with your life so confidently, it also make them, have second thoughts as to comment anything or like, just say rude things or just be harsh. So yeah, self-acceptance is the key.
So
And
I would like to add something from my personal
yes, ma'am.
experience. इसमें भी मेरे पास है कुछ लाइक ऐसे कहना आसान है कि सेल्फ एक्सेप्टेंस इज अ की मेरे हिसाब से लाइक ठीक है एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है खुद को पर फिर भी बहुत बड़ा टैबू है ये कि हमको लोगों के मतलब हमको लोगों को बताना है ये चीज क्यों कोई मान लो कोई स्ट्रेट पर्सन है वो कभी जो बिलोंग नहीं करता सोसाइटी को वो कभी अपनी आइडेंटिटी किसी को बताता है क्या सब अज्यूम कर लेते हैं ना तो ऐसे ही तुम भी नॉर्मल रहो ना क्या जरूरत है दुनिया भर को बताने की तुम जो हो खत्म करो और जैसे बाकी लोग अपने प्रेफरेंसेस के बारे में बात करते हैं तुम भी बात करो आधे लोग जज करेंगे आधे लोग तुमको सपोर्ट करेंगे आधे लोग तुम्हारी चीजें समझ पाएंगे ठीक है तो बस वही है कि खुश रहो यार और इतना दिमाग मत लगाओ इन सब चीजों में कि तुमको किसको बताना है किसको नहीं बताना है बस जैसे रहना चाहते हो रह लो और सेल्फ एक्सेप्टेंस आने में टाइम लगता है क्योंकि हमारे अंदर लाइक इंटरनल होमोफोबिया है अभी जब हम बात करते हैं कि हमको कम्युनिटी को सपोर्ट करना है बहुत ईजी होता है सबके लिए कि सपोर्ट करेंगे हाँ जब लेकिन खुद पे बात आती है ना कि तुम भी कम्युनिटी को बिलोंग कर सकते हो तो एक डर आता है उसके साथ में बहुत बड़ा कि तुम क्या लाइक तुमको सोसाइटी को फेस करना पड़ेगा जो हमेशा ऑपोजिट साइड खड़ी होगी तुमसे हमेशा तुमको जज करेगी तो जब तक वो इंटरनल होमोफोबिया है तुम्हारे अंदर से वो खत्म नहीं होगा तब तक वो सेल्फ एक्सेप्टेंस आ ही नहीं सकता और वो जो इंटरनल होमोफोबिया है उसको खत्म करने के लिए तुमको कम्युनिटी में इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ेगा जब अपने जैसे लोग के साथ रहोगे उनसे बात करोगे उनके एक्सपीरियंसेस सुनोगे अपने आप अच्छा फील करोगे और वो होमोफोबिया अपने आप चला जाएगा टाइम के साथ आई गेस उसके बाद सेल्फ एक्सपेक्टेंस वो तो है बट हाँ कि टाइम लगता है यार तो चिल करो इतना लोड मत लो
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is important to be happy yourself. Not you don't have to answer the society for whatever you are doing. You are not answerable to that, I guess.
Love yourself.
And also, ma'am, like हम देख रहे कि आप लोग तो हो ही एज अ सोसाइटी एंड देयर इज अ कम्युनिटी होल लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर रेडी टू सपोर्ट जो भी आप मतलब मैं किसी के पास भी आऊँगा आप बिल्कुल सपोर्ट करोगे बट देयर इज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड मैनी मोर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कैन एड समथिंग फॉर द फ्रीडम ऑफ LGBTQI plus community and these people is there something that you could
Anyway,
expect
That's all we want अभी के लिए क्योंकि अनऑफिशियली अगर तुम किसी क्लब को चलाओगे तो लाइक फंड्स एंड बाकी चीज़ों में काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है लाइक मैनेज करना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है तो इफ़ वी वर ऑफिशियल तो ज़्यादा इजी होता तब हमारे पास कुछ लाइक फंड्स अवेलेबल होते हैं जिससे हम बड़े बड़े इवेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइज कर सकते हैं अभी छोटा छोटा करा रहे हैं फिर बड़े लेवल पे चले जाते अभी के अभी और अगर लाइक कोई बुलिंग का केस आता है या कुछ आता है, तो उसमें हम लाइक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से लाइक कुछ राइट्स मांग सकते थे अपने लिए कि इस पे लाइक चार्जेस लगाओ या समथिंग अगर ऑफिशियल होते तो। और एक कोर्स साइड करवा सकते थे हम अपने करिकुलम में, जो जेंडर आइडेंटिटी, सेक्सुअलिटी, सेक्स, जेंडर, एवरीथिंग जो भी होता है सब इंक्लूड करके हमें लाइक थोड़ा सा एजुकेट करें। और छोटी छोटी चीज़ें जिनमें हम इतना ज़्यादा अपने आप से लड़ते रहते हैं उनमें नहीं लड़ेंगे आई गेस उसके बाद।
So on, I would like to add on administration level, if we are talking about the college, so I think there could be some setup of cells working towards the cause, like as Shivangi mentioned, that if there is a case of bully or something, so we can have a cell consisting of staff members so that this cell can take care of such cases. So as a student group we are doing things, but there should be a cell at upper level, right? So if there is something very hard cause and which could not be like solved by the student community, so it should go to the administrative level, and there should be a setup of cell. And same for the country level as well, there should be setup of the community courts where such cases could be taken. Like we have family courts, right? So there could be like setup of this type of courts where issues related to the community could be set up. And yeah, definitely we need certain laws in our constitution as well to avoid the bully and superstition of the, but I don't think so that present government would be helping. So yeah, so if anyone would like to add on this.
Yeah, I would like to go on. At administration level, I think like usually we get to see washrooms designated for girls and boys. So a very good achievement for us would be to set up gender neutral washrooms in like campus. I think that would be like an amazing step. Or officially releasing a statement that would mention that discrimination or harassment on the basis of someone's gender or sexual orientation, that there would be, some, how do I say, like,
Some action taken against them.
yes, some action taken against. I think that would be a great step for like people to even initiate any conversation, I mean, comment or just shame anyone on the basis of their gender or sexual orientation. So I think these two steps,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward if we can do that.
we are looking forward as well. Shilpa ma'am, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think everything is mostly covered. Like the need of a cell would be like I think that would really help people, and just the just the presence of a cell, it kind of terrorizes people, so they won't do something out of the way. And so I think that is first, and whatever Harika suggested, I think if that can happen, that will be really amazing. Yeah.
Great. So I would like to ask Shivangi ma'am. So ma'am, government ने queer relationships legal कर दिया है. Still we see a lot of hesitance in people and they're still uncomfortable and hanging out openly. So do you or can we foresee a change in this behavior in upcoming years in our college?
So, like I don't know about the whole country और सब कैसे चेंज होगा. लाइक मोस्टली चीज़ें डिपेंड करती है कि सोसाइटी कैसे एक्सेप्ट करती है. पर हमारे कॉलेज में वी आर ट्राइंग आवर बेस्ट टू प्रोवाइड दैट सेफ स्पेस कि लोग इतने ओपन हो सकें एंड दे कैन एक्सप्रेस देयर सेल्फ देयर ट्रू सेल्फ इन कॉलेज. तो कुछ ईयर में आई गेस वी विल बी एबल टू डू दैट.
Yeah, I think one thing is that ऐसा नहीं कि homosexual couples अभी exist करते पहले नहीं करते थे, but it's more of a representation. Like लोगों को दिखता नहीं था. So like if you know if you look into stories, there were people who were getting married, like homosexual couples earlier as well. जब like it was not legal, homosexual relationships were not legal, तभी भी people were getting married, finding their partners. uh, so abhi bhi you can abhi the thing is that now after that it is banned, and you can see a lot of changes in the film industry as well as in arts. So people are trying to represent characters, trying to represent this kind of relationships, and I think this is definitely going to help. एक तो it provides a general knowledge to the entire public, so the public is getting educated some way. Also, I think it's also helping the couples to come out and live their life comfortably, as openly as a couple, which earlier they might have stayed as maybe roommates or something. They can now call themselves a couple and stay together and have a life. But then I expect in the future there are laws, marriage laws related to them, and also adoption laws where couples can adopt and bear a child of their own and get married, stay legally married. And considering our like college, we will try our best to educate the public and provide a safe space so that you can be with whoever you want without being judged or harassed. So we'll try to protect you. We'll try to provide a safe space, and we are still trying to. So we hope that we are able to do something about it.
If Vatik sir, if you would like to add something.
Yeah, sure. So as they already said that the thing about the country is not like we cannot predict anything, right? So whether it's gonna be a good change, whether it's gonna be a bad change, but yeah, definitely in the coming years we could see some laws building up. There's already a plea in the Supreme Court for the legalization of the homosexual marriages as well. So if in the near future we can see the changes happening around, and along with time, as we all already mentioned, that time heals everything. So along with time it would be a more of a generalization whole across the country. Definitely some years ahead we see a good amount of representation in the Bollywood and TV series that would impact a good amount of population. So yeah, we can see a certain good changes in the coming years, maybe, hopefully. Yeah.
Yes. Harika ma'am, would you like to add something to this?
Since the topic of Bollywood and movies, I think in movies which are queer movies, the whole movie is about them being queer, like usually. So I think movies have to show like the other part of their life instead of them just being queer and making their life all about being queer. I get it, it's a very big part of their identity, but yeah, we would like to see how their life goes in general as well, and would like to have their story apart from just their identity.
Yeah.
Definitely, ma'am. There's
I have one this margarita with a straw. I think that was like disability, and she's a disabled woman who is like trying to explore her sexuality when she goes off to a foreign country for higher education. So that movie, I think, is the only movie I have seen abhi tak which is not all about her being queer. Yeah, I mean, I would just recommend that movie for people to like watch this Pride Month.
we would like to see some sensible and good changes in the near future by both college and the government as well.
Cinema plays a huge role in our lives, in India especially. So moving on.
They do. They sure do.
Yeah, because here actors are treated like God.
Yeah.
That is something we can't argue about that.
Even
Not,
then,
not
we
great.
have people saying, "यार movie तो है," when there's some bad representation or like homophobic jokes in movies. We have people saying like, things like, "अरे movie तो है, chill करना." But no, movies have a very big impact on Indians especially.
Yeah.
Some sensibilities at the least we can expect from them since they are running on a big scale, an Indian scale. So now, seniors, like, this is the Pride Month going on, and you have been conducting a lot of events, and we have witnessed some very great things as well from your side. So, what are some messages if you would like to give to the community through our podcast?
Sure.
Shivam?
So I would like to go ahead with this one. So I'll just add that be yourself. It's not like everything happens with the appropriate amount of time. And as we already mentioned, that it's not a compulsion. You have to come out to anyone. So just be like self acceptance. Just have some good amount of people, just a small population around you whom you can put your trust on and whom you feel comfortable with, and just try to explore yourself. It's not like no one's gonna help, no one's gonna support you, no one's gonna understand you. Everyone is there. Some people would definitely be there to help you and support you at any time, and there might be any type of negative comments as well, so be ready for that. And yeah, everything would be in place according to the time. So just do not overthink or just do not overshadow your main personality. Just be with it and help yourself. We are always here to help you as well. So yeah, other people can add.
I think for the people in college, I would say people who belong to the community, and if you're an ally, please reach out to us because we'll need a team to build up right now. I mean, we do have a beautiful, amazing team, but having just allies in Astitva that represents the community, I think doesn't make sense. Like we would want more people from the community so that we can help represent them better, understand how things work with them.
Shilpa ma'am, if you would like to add something.
Yeah, sure. So what Harika said is very important. That if we, for example, have like 100 people in Asitto and like 98 are allies and 2 are people belonging to the community, we won't be able to do much because you know the community is very diverse. Like it's very diverse. So as many people from the community can be with us, we can understand like we can understand their needs much better and pertain to them. So that is one thing which is very important. Another thing which I'd like to say to people in general in the college is that like we have like college is not just about the education. I think this is what our seniors have been saying to us for a very long time. It's about development, right? Developing yourself, your personality and everything. And I think exploring your sexuality, gender orientation, this is a very important aspect of your personality. And I feel that this is something you should be able to do during these years because these are the vulnerable years when we grow and we become a different person when we are going to graduate. So I maybe an unofficial informal request ki try to explore yourself as much as you can, and we are of course here to help you. Reach out to us if you need any help, and we just expect that you get to the person you want to be. And yeah, that's all that I have to say.
That's so outstandingly said. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful and a very knowledgeable day with our wonderful guests, with our wonderful seniors. May this very thoughtful motive behind this club be achieved in near future, and we will be delighted to witness it and make our contribution towards it whenever possible.